Hello and welcome back to the Very Amateur Watchmaker. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with this picture?
Well, if you didn't notice, the 6 is now at the 12th position, so we're going to be replacing that dial today with a similar dial, but in a really beautiful blue color. So first thing we need to do is get the strap off. I apologize for the shaking of the camera, and we'll just get that other strap off, and there we go. So next step is we have to remove this display back, and we use the handy dandy rubber ball. The rubber ball is nice. It forms nice friction, makes it real easy to take it off. And yes, I know I'm not wearing finger cots. I do remember to put them on a little bit later in the video, but let's get that back off. Okay, so movement looks pretty good. It's pretty stable. Okay, now in order to get the movement out of the case, we're going to have to do a few things here. And the first thing is we need to remove the case clamps. Now, the case clamps are two little mailbox shaped pieces of metal with a little screw hole that keeps the movement firmly in place inside the case. If that was not there, the only thing that would be holding it would be the winding stem, and the movement would just rattle around inside. So we'll take that first little case clamp off, and just get that rotor out of the way, and we can see that second case clamp, and we'll get that taken off. Okay, and there we have it. Now the next step is going to be to remove the winding stem. So we'll get that rotor out of the way and take a small screwdriver, and we depress the setting lever screw, and it should just pop out of there. Now, the one thing you do want to make sure is that when you do remove the winding stem, that it is in the time setting position and not the winding setting. If you do that, it can damage the movement. And we'll do a little flipperoo and just lift up a little bit. And come on, get out of there. And there we have it. Okay, the next step is we need to remove the hands. Now, I'm not really worried about protecting the dial because I'm going to be throwing the dial away, but when we lift the hands off, I want to take care not to damage them. So I use this little plastic bag, and I also have these incredibly cheap, dare I say, garbage hand levers that really do not work very well. So I'm going to be saving my pennies up for a little better set. So, yeah, we got the minute hand moved, but got to get that second hand off. So, do another try. And see if we can gently pry those off. And we got the second hand off. Get that out of there. Now let's use a little piece of Rodico to pick up the minute hand. And you can see the hour hand is still firmly attached to the hour wheel. So we'll make another attempt to pry that off very gently. we got it that time. So got the hour hand off. Use a little Rodico, get that out of there. And then you can see where the 6 had fallen off. So also get that out of there. Now, the next thing we have to do is remove the dial. Now, the dial is affixed to the movement with some little swing arms. And I just use my plastic stick and we just move that one little swing arm there, swing that out, and that secures the dial feet to the movement. And see, the dial feet are still kind of stuck. Now, you see what I'm doing here? This tells you what an amateur I am. I'm pushing down on the seconds pivot, which is a great way to damage that. So when I look back at this video, I'm thinking, boy, that was really dumb. So I'll make sure I never do that again. What we should do is just work the dial feet out of the little dial feet holes in the movement, and it should gently lift out of there. And there we go. Okay, so we're about ready to put the dial on. Look at that blue color, isn't that beautiful? Just love this dial. Now, you may have noticed that this was the ETA 2824, but it did not have a date wheel. Now, I've worked on this movement several times, and one of the times I damaged the hour wheel, so I just took it off. Okay, now to affix the new dial, we just put the dial feet back in the dial holes and use the plastic stick to move the swing arms down, firmly clamping it in place. Okay, now we can work on getting the hands set back. So we'll put the hour hand on first as soon as we get that lined up, and just some firm pressure, but you don't want to push too hard. You don't want to bend the pivot. And next we have the minute hand and the second hand. I'll just put a little pressure on there and get those two firmly in place. Okay, and we're ready to put the case back on. So we'll lay that on there. And we'll just flip the case cushion over. And you can see it's resting fairly comfortably in there. Now we have to make sure everything is lined up. And we'll use our case clamps. Make sure that the movement's secured firmly into the case. Okay, the case clamps are back in, watch is running, and everything is looking good. Now I just have to get the strap back on. Okay, so for about $15, we have a brand new watch. This is the Very Amateur Watchmaker. If you enjoyed this, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.